Hey guys, welcome to our bi-weekly Team Bling Training. So I'm so excited. We are at month end and we are pushing for everyone to meet their goals. And I have a couple really special guests I just absolutely adore. I have Stephanie and Gabe Smith with us. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Gabe. She's Steph. We're Double Diamonds. We've been in the company
since September of last
since
year.
September 1st of last year, so about 10 months now. And wow. So we've been in a little over 10 months now, almost 11 months. And we started out, we went Ruby, and then we pushed and we worked on growing, but it was kind of a stagnant time. You went through the whole, are we really meant to do this? Christmas is so hard and all of that. Yeah, all the little complaints and little things that you make up in your head and little voices that are screaming, quit, don't be successful. It's not worth the effort. Don't listen to those, they're liars. So anyway, after that, we went to the conference in February. When we went to conference, it ripped the roof off. I mean, there was nothing that changed except us. That was it. That was all that changed.
Mindset.
People weren't even there. They didn't change. They didn't experience that, but it changed our hearts. It gave us a vision. It gave us something to believe in.
We went Ruby to Diamond in 1 month, and then Double Diamond the next month.
Yeah, we went from Diamond to Double Diamond, which to do that, you literally have to double the size of your company. It's challenging. So we were Emerald for about 4 hours. Remember that? We joke about that. We're like, hey, you remember that time we were Emerald for 4 hours?
I don't know if I can remember. It was only for a couple hours.
Our thing literally said Emerald, and then 4 hours later it said Diamond, and we were like, oh, and she started crying.
I did.
And I took that video of her and put it on Facebook with her crying, and that got like a ton of hits.
Yeah.
So many people were like, why are you crying? Like, what's going on? Can we join? And we were like, yes, come here.
Right.
Social media is a great way to build. Do you have any specific questions for us, or would you like us to launch into a testimony?
Well, basically, I do have some questions for you. So I just kind of wanted to start out with, how did you get into this crazy wrap thing business? How did you get into it? What did you do to get started? And what was your why when you first started? Because obviously all of our whys can change. My why in 6 months, well, almost 7 months now, has changed probably a half dozen times, if not more. So I'd love to hear how you guys got started.
Okay. So I got followed on Instagram by one of those girls who posts before and afters, and that's all she did. Like nothing else but before and afters.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time. And all I would do is I would scroll. Oh, sorry, you missed. There we go. Okay, I would just scroll, and some of them would catch my eye, and some of them wouldn't. Well, one day she posted one that kind of looked like my stomach. It was more believable to me at the time. So I was like, okay, I could maybe see that. Because, all the others looked way too extreme. And he always said they were Photoshopped.
I was like, Photoshop, scam.
Yeah.
Every kind of negative word.
And so I was like, hey, I really want to, check this out. I used to own my own salon, and he owns a law firm. So
I'm a lawyer, so I'm really cynical.
Right.
I tend to believe that everybody's lying or looking for an angle.
Yeah, so he's super skeptical. So we tried working together, and that really didn't work that well. So we decided he can't work in the salon, and I can't work in the legal field. It just doesn't work.
It wasn't us. It was our profession.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a hairstylist, even though I do have amazing hair nails.
You have great hair, but that's thanks to the hair, skin, and nails.
Yeah, it is. 5 months.
And I would feel guilty for his clients, and I'd be like, you would really need to do this for free, and he couldn't, so it just wouldn't work.
Yeah, that's like a customer.
So we really wanted something we could do together, and I stumbled across this multi-level marketing thing. I didn't even know that's exactly what it was. And I reached out to Cammie, and I messaged her on Facebook after watching YouTube videos of what It Works was.
She was Googling who's the number one person in the company. I'll just contact them.
So that's what I was like.
Smart.
Go for it. So I stumbled across her testimony video, her Black Diamond, on YouTube, and it just touched me and it made me cry. So I was like, I want to learn from her. You know, she's made it to the top. That's who I want to learn from. So I messaged her, and she didn't message me back the first day, but she messaged me back the second day. And she wanted to know more about me, and then she wanted to be on a phone call. So I knew I had to get Gabriel in on that because I didn't want to be talked into anything because I can be. So, yeah, so he had to be there for that one. And he's like, I'm not getting on the phone with her. We're going to Skype her. And I was like, well, how about we FaceTime her? So then I messaged her.
You can lie on the phone, but it's hard to lie for looking at somebody's eyes.
Yeah, he's like, I need to see her eyes. So we messaged her, and she was like, oh, my gosh, I have no makeup on, but sure. So we did. Yeah, she was worried about her makeup. She was driving in the car with her kids, and they were screaming, and it was awesome. So we ended up talking to her for like over an hour, and Gabriel, like, he drilled her. Like,
I think I hear her
crazy.
with every question there was.
He even tried to get a free wrap from her, and she was like, no, I'm not
She
getting
was
a
like,
wrap.
I'm not giving you a free wrap. And I was like, come on, you want me to join? Give me a free wrap. I want to know if this works. She was like, no.
She's like, you can buy one for $25.
She said, you send me $25 if you can buy one. I'll ship it to you.
Yeah. So then we prayed about it, and we decided to just go for it. And then I really didn't know how it worked. And I told my brother, she told me I needed to get 4 loyals. So I was like, David, will you be one of my loyal customers? And he's like, well, no, because I want to do what you're doing. I was like, well, I don't really know what I'm doing, but okay. So then he signed up.
She was like, I think it's called being a distributor.
Yeah, I did.
So he signed up like the next day.
So I signed up with the distributor, and then we just never looked back, and we just started throwing parties, and Cammie came down here and trained us because we were growing and we didn't know what we were doing. So she had to fly down here and train us. So how many parties did we throw?
I think we threw 18 parties our first month. If you want to be successful, you got to do one of 2 things. You got to network on social media like a boss, which I'm not.
Like be a professional, not spammy.
Yeah, you can't be spammy. You can't be just throwing up before and afters that look photoshopped. You got to be a professional networker, or you got to go old school, and you got to go belly to belly, and you got to meet with a bunch of people. You got to go to coffee shops. You got to bring them in your living room. You got to go. One of the things we did was we passed out flyers to everyone. I was literally like, hey, I don't know you. Here, take a flyer. We got a party coming up. It's something called It Works. You can learn about all our products. And so we just passed out flyers like crazy.
We
and
made
our
like
pastor,
200 flyers.
Yeah, and we got 30-something people to show up, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
So then we had Cammie down, and Cammie came down, and we had this room with 30-something people in it. And I was like, is this okay? I'm really sorry we don't have more. She was like, no, this is good. 30-something people is great. I had no idea that was a lot.
Yeah, at that time I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I think we had like I want to say it was about a 30% conversion rate that night. And then it planted seeds.
No, everybody but like 5 people. Because,
I guess,
everyone but 5 people in the
everybody, we almost doubled in size that night. Like everyone got their 4 loyal customers that night. And we had already got 6 or 7 distributors. So we literally set the stage for Ruby, but we still didn't have enough BV because a lot of our people were poor.
They were all distributors.
And
we were getting distributors.
Yeah, but the loyal customers were just doing things like bat fighters and stuff like that, which was really low BV. So we just started packing in the loyal customers and stuff. We were like, everyone sign up. I was like, with a mega one.
No, he wasn't doing that.
What we really did though is we literally told everyone. If we went to a restaurant, by the time the server got done, I was going to have told her, and I wouldn't tell her right away. I would build a relationship with her. So where'd you go to school? So all that kind of stuff. And guess what? Everybody inevitably does. Guess what they do? What do you do? I'm an It Works distributor. I wouldn't even lead off with, hey, I'm a lawyer. I started saying, I'm an It Works distributor. Really? Does that work out well for you? Yeah, it sustains our lifestyle. I would go right into it and tell them all about It Works at that point. Because what they do when you are talking to someone and they ask you a question, they create the warm market. That gives you the opportunity to tell them about it. Make them ask you. So, hey, what do you do? Ask them what they do. Make it about them. Keep talking to them about what they do. And then they will eventually ask you, what do you do? And what's cool is you're building relationships, which is what multi-level marketing is all about. It will not work unless you're building relationships. So you got to get out there and start building those relationships, start networking. And it's really got to be from the heart because they'll sense it if you're being fake.
Yeah, they can totally sense the sincerity.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even if we were going to Wendy's we would give them a Blitz card, which I got business cards because the Blitz cards got kind of expensive because we handed out so many.
I was like, quit that.
So, so we did business cards. And so we literally, like, all you have to do is say, hey, can I give you one of my business cards? And nobody's going to say no. You know?
You put a picture of a tummy on her business card, and, oh, my gosh, we must have passed out 1,000.
Yeah.
One thing I love to do, too, is if I feel like we did a 4th of July festival here in Columbus, and I found that people didn't want to take the time to stop at the table to try a sample. I mean, we got several people that tried. They didn't want to take the time to, write down their name and their phone number or email or whatever on a piece of paper. So I was like, okay, I have to think outside of the box. So what I started doing was I got out a stack of my business cards, and I would ask people. I stood out front of the table, and I said, I would just approach people, and I would say, hey, would you like to enter into a free drawing? And then I would hand them the business card, and they'd be like, oh, no. And I'd say, all you have to do is text Red, White, and Boom, because that was the name of the festival, to this number before midnight tonight or before noon tomorrow, and I'm going to put you in a drawing for a free product. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. And I do that a lot now, too, when I go to blitz people, and I find that some people are like, I don't know, I'm in a hurry. Well, that's okay. Here, take one of my business cards and just text me, like, if we met at Starbucks, if we met at Target. That way, and then I have that down so I can start them. I always use, I'm so old school. I use index cards.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So I write their name down. I get their name, and when they text me, I say, great, thanks for entering. What was your name? So I know what name I'm putting into my drawing. I get their name. I ask them for their email. Sometimes they give it, sometimes they don't. But I already have their name and I have their contact information, at least a phone number. And I'm finding that I'm getting more people as potentials when I get their phone number because I'm calling them. It's not just a mass message on Facebook. It's not just a mass text message. It's actually them hearing my voice and really connecting with them, one-on-one. And I'm just finding that people like that better because people are so quick to just say no. But when you recognize and honor the fact that, okay, they're in a hurry, they're busy, well, give them a quick way out, but you're still, blitzing. Give them the card and say, just text this number by whatever time. I'll put you into a drawing. Just text Starbucks so I remember where I met you. And then you have that to put on your card so you can remember, hey, they love Starbucks. Offer to have a coffee date. Treat them to a cup of coffee at Starbucks, Or if they're at Target, say, I'm putting you into a drawing for a $25 Target gift card or something for, obviously we can only offer certain incentives, privately and not publicly.
Yeah.
But it just gives you an idea so you can start building that relationship because building relationships are so important. So I just wanted to quickly go over to, so you guys kind of quickly talked about conference and how impactful that was. So the three of us just got back from Florida at Green Carpet, and that was so amazing. I love that, if you guys don't know, Steph and Gabe were down in Florida too, and we were able to hook up with them a couple of times, and we spent the day at Holmes Beach, and what else? Oh, we did the dolphin tour thing.
Yes, the dolphin tour.
Yeah.
Yep, and Gabe scared the holy bejesus out of me, making me think he was a manatee or something coming after me.
Yes.
So we had a lot of fun
snorkeling. A guy got killed by a bull shark right next to where we were.
What?
A guy got killed by a bull shark next to where we were.
Well, I'm glad you waited to tell me that until after we got back from Florida.
Yeah, that's pretty freaky.
So about Green Carpet, I kind of wanted to touch upon, like what you guys took away from Green Carpet and what the importance is, because all, my distributors that are on the call tonight, and a lot of them that are going to be listening to the recording, they're fairly new. I'm still fairly new, but I've caught that little, event bug. I know the importance of it. So can you guys just kind of tell us about, what are some aha moments you had from Green Carpet, or maybe even just being in Florida, period, and what is the major importance of going to events?
Okay. Do you want me to start?
Yes.
Okay. My aha moment from conference was definitely when Stephanie was talking, and Stephanie Dunn. And so when she was saying the best way to get unstuck is to basically just get unstuck. Like, I know how basic that was, but for me, you're going to go through ups and downs in this business. And the only way to get out of it is just to put your foot in front of the other and just basically get out of it.
She said, start moving.
Yeah, start
moving. Even if you can't move with a purpose, start moving and go find the purpose and get on it. And she was talking about how many people get frustrated and then just sit down and then they go, well, nothing's happening. And then they just quit, or they quit trying. So then everything dies. And that gives them an easy out, because what they were looking for was an excuse to permit them to quit. And that destroys your motivation for anything after that. Once you fail at one thing, you don't really like trying afterwards. But they said no matter what, if you're failing, it doesn't matter. The real failure comes when you quit trying, which it sounds so juvenile. It sounds so childish. But the fact of the matter is, it's something that we never really seem to learn until it's too late. So it's so important that we grasp that now, especially jumping in a business, because everybody that's listening to my voice right now, or is going to be listening to my voice, you are an entrepreneur. You are a trendsetter. You're cutting edge. You're the one pushing when everybody else is just barely getting by. You're the one trying. Yeah, they're in the box. You're trying to make more out of your life. Don't be surprised if society pushes back at you. And if people don't understand and they look at you sideways and you can't get it in them. Because remember, a vision is not taught. A vision is caught. So when your emotion starts dying down and you're just not feeling it anymore, the vision is what you will hold on to, because it's deeper than something you feel. It's something that has become a part of your belief system. It's become a part of your worldview. See, I don't think about whether or not it works can make me wealthy. I know it can. See, I already believe that. I'm past that. I've seen too many people become millionaires or making way more than I make. And I mean, I have a doctorate in law and they're making more than I make. And they didn't even go to college. And they're making more than I made or make. And I'm like, multi-level marketing is a better way. It is the future. So if I'm going to do something different, if I'm going to create an empire, set something up different for my children, then we've got to change the way we're doing things. And the good old 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or 8 to 7, whatever you're working in corporate America is not going to change your life. It just isn't. There's a glass ceiling. They're never going to let you own the company. They're never going to let you be the CEO. Maybe if you absolutely kill it and become their slave, they might let you in mid-level management and give you a halfway decent pension someday.
Yeah.
After you absolutely sell your soul for them. So if you really want to build something, if you really want to make it happen, multi-level marketing is the best way to become an entrepreneur. It's a business in a box. They've taken so much of the guesswork out of it. You know what you're selling. It's been packaged. It's been labeled. Your responsibility is to go get the people. They created the website for you. You don't even have to carry inventory. So It Works is a better way of creating and starting a business. Stephanie and I have started, how many businesses have we started?
2.
2 big ones and a couple of smaller ones. But we have built 2 large businesses. The investment that it took to create her salon, wow, it was probably about $30K.
And you make a lot of money, but you don't get to keep it.
You don't get to keep it. It's all going to your overhead.
Yeah.
So with It Works, I mean, once you pay off that $99 and you cover your $20 website fee, it's a whole gravy. You can't do that in other businesses. I know people that have started multi-million-dollar businesses. And when I say multi-million, like they actually made millions. These are people in our family. They are her blood relatives, immediate family. Made millions, never got to keep a penny of it. Literally not a penny.
Yep.
It all went back into sustaining the company.
And even if you include your auto shipment, so let's say your business is $100 a month, including your website and your auto shipment, that's insanely cheap.
Yeah, that's,
you know,
in a business, any of our businesses that we have, that's waking up and like clearing your throat. You spend $100.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I love It Works, an opportunity that it gives to us everyday people to be able to create a business from scratch, to become those entrepreneurs.
Saying all that, going to the events, you around like-minded people is so important because we get told no a lot.
All the time.
So we don't think like everybody else. And being around these people, what is it? It like edifies you.
It does. I think there's something spiritually that unlocks. There's like a key that turns. And I'm not trying to be weird or trippy, but being around those people, the vibe, I don't know. It's hard for me to talk like this because I'm an attorney, and so I think real logically, but there's no other way to describe it than when you get around them, something turns inside of you. It's so easy to believe when you're with all of those people. It's so important to get fired up, to get that set inside of you, to be around like-minded individuals. If you want to be an entrepreneur and you are constantly around people that don't believe in it, they attack and tear down your belief in that system or your belief in the ideal of creating your own business and not working for the man, being your own boss. It's so hard to maintain that, discouraging in our everyday lives. When you go to these events, it gives you the fire. It lights you up 3-6 months. It gives you tools that you need. There's a lot of things that you learn that you just can't learn any other way than being there, because there's so many big wigs that you can ask questions of. But one of the main things that we find with going to conference is that something unlocks. When we went to conference, I was not even sure how much longer we were going to keep doing the business. I don't like admitting that, but I can admit it now that we're double diamond, working towards triple high five. So when we started, it was, okay, out of the gate. We had an entire Ruby quit. One of our really good friends got mad, quit, and talked another distributor into quitting.
And all their loyals.
And all of their loyals, they convinced all of their loyals to quit ordering just to hurt us. So, I mean, it was vindictive. She's got to get the charger. So it was vindictive. And we went through a lot of stuff. And I'll be honest, I was like, I'm tired of this. This is silly. Stephanie's the kind that you could kick her every day, and she would just get back up and keep trying. She's a go-getter. She's a fireball. You can't break her spirit. You cannot break her spirit. I told a bunch of people one time, I said, you got to have that person in the family that if 1,000 bad guys went to rush your front door, they would stand there beside you to protect the home with you. And like she is that for us. So she's the go-getter, the never quitter. And
I like that.
I love that about her. I'm the logical one. I'm like, I just don't see how these numbers are going to turn out. That this just isn't computing on my spreadsheet. And she's like, I don't care. I just believe. And I'm like, listen here, you and your rainbows. But we're really good for each other. But we went through a tough time, and when we went to conference, I know we already said it, but nothing changed except our belief. That was it. I was ready to throw in the towel. We went back home and literally went diamond in 2.5 weeks.
Yep.
No, February had 29 days in it. It was a leap year. It was the 15th by the time we got home. We had 2 weeks. We had exactly 2 weeks. We went from ruby to diamond. And I mean, we did not have the BV. I am not kidding. We did not have the BV. We literally put 5,000 BV in our team in 2 weeks. And
wow.
It had taken 6 months. 5 months. Yeah, it had taken 5 months to get to 5,000 BV. And then in 2 weeks, we went to 8,500, I think is what we had at the end of that. So we put in about 4,000 BV during that time period. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the next month, we went double diamond.
Which is a lot more.
And we got both of the double good bonuses. Everybody hang in there. No matter what, hang in there. In September, he usually releases a double good of some sort, or a good at least. A regular good. But when February comes around, that's double good bonus season. Yep. You do whatever it takes to keep your people with you until you get to February. If you have 5 people that are committed with you in February, you will end up going diamond.
Everyone told us that. They were like, you go ruby going into conference, you'll come out diamond.
They said if you're ruby going into conference, you'll come out diamond. And I didn't believe them. I thought they were lying. I said, that's hogwash. I'm not about to.
Gabriel's like, it's impossible.
Yeah, that's literally what I said. Is that how I said?
He sounded just like that.
so yeah. We
quite a bit. I always, hear, whether it's my team or it's, sidelines or whatever, and they say, I feel like I'm a failure. I feel like I'm failing at it. I'm trying, I'm posting, I'm messaging people. And I think that's where a lot of my team is struggling with right now, because they feel like they're working, but they don't understand why they're not bringing on any loyals or distributors. And, one thing that I like to constantly tell them is the only way that you can fail is if you quit. And you're not really failing when you think you're failing. You're learning, you're learning. And every one of those failures is a lesson. So whatever it was that you were doing, that you're doing now in the month of July, and it's not bringing you any production, it's not bringing you, volume, you're not bringing on distributors or whatever, take a lesson from that and say, okay, well, what was I doing when I did bring on, even if you have one loyal, what if you don't have any? You have to constantly be willing to keep turning the wheels in your head and know that if this wasn't working, you have to try something else, and it's just a matter of getting them on a call, getting them on a Zoom, getting them in person, like Gabe said, belly to belly. And you guys, it's as simple as this. If you don't have your steps to success, this comes in your business builder kit. If y'all haven't looked in your business builder kit since you got it, you have one of these already in there. So you don't have to print one out every month. You can laminate it. You can write it down on a piece of paper. I always have this no excuses attitude. Like, there is no reason, every month that I don't have this out in front of me. Now, I have dry erase boards. So I use that because I'm kind of like how Mark and Mike use theirs and their walls, and they're constantly writing messages on it. And I do that same thing for myself. And one thing that I took away from Green Carpet was, like what Gabe was saying, one thing that before anybody even walked on stage, the amount of energy before anyone ever touched foot on that stage was absolutely insane. And I say that too, when I flew to Minnesota for a 1-team-1 mission with Liz and Cammie came down, when I went to Wisconsin for an It Works U in Michigan for an It Works U at Grand Rapids, and then going down to Florida, like I knew, heck, even when I joined January 3rd, and obviously tickets for conference were sold out, but I knew going in, like everybody keeps talking about this conference thing and how important it is, like, but it's $50 to pay for the pay-per-view. Well, it's 3 days, so yeah, I guess I'll do it. It was the best $50 outside of the $99 he paid to start, because I think my husband and my kid thought that I was crazy because I was sitting at my laptop with my big old headphones on. The praise and worship thing that opened up conference just blew me away.
Oh, you should have been there.
It was
I can only imagine.
You should have been there. It was the biggest praise and worship session.
People were getting saved, like literally.
Yeah, the leaders of the company, like the millionaires, lined the front row, and then they started praying for people. I was like, "What are we in church? This is crazy."
I know. And to just think that, and that was what really motivated me. And which, I mean, I have been 110% from day one when I joined, because I just knew that God put this vehicle in my lap for a reason. I just didn't know why at the time. So I knew after conference, even just watching it from a computer screen, it was huge. The energy that I felt even just through watching the pay-per-view, and I know that might sound crazy to some of you, but it was just totally indescribable. And I knew that I had done what God wanted me to do. This was what I was supposed to be doing. This is what I was meant to be doing.
Yeah.
So it was right after conference, not even, I don't think, a month after that, there was the 1-team-1 mission in Minnesota. And I spent $600 for a round trip airplane ticket.
Oh.
And my husband was not happy with me at all. Because at this point, he was still a huge skeptic. And I said, I can't describe it. I just know that I have to be there. I can't describe it. I just know I have to be there, especially from watching the pay-per-view of conference. Like, I have to be in a room with these people.
Yeah.
Way. And then it was like, okay, after that 1-team-1 mission, and then I went to the It Works U in Michigan, I was like, I don't care what it takes. I don't care how hard, how many hours, what little sleep I'm going to get. I'm going to work my business as hard as I possibly can, reach out to every single person I've ever known, add new people to my hundreds list daily, because I have to get down to Florida. Mm-hmm. And, I have not taken off my admission bracelet since we got back, because every morning when I wake up and it's like, cutting off circulation down here on my forearm, it just reminds me like, okay, I'm not taking this off, because of course, if it starts getting grungy and gross or whatever, I'll take it off. But
yeah,
it's just a constant daily reminder for me every day that I wake up. And when I'm looking down at my hands, and you look at your hands a lot when you take a drink of something, when you pick up your phone, it's a constant reminder for me of how hard I worked to get to where I'm at and to be able to take my family on that dream vacation for us, not have to worry about the price tag on anything. We were able to do whatever we wanted, when we wanted. And it was just absolutely amazing. And the biggest thing I took away from Green Carpet wasn't even at Green Carpet. It was, we went to a lunch with Cammie, and when we were waiting for everybody to get there, I saw that Joel and Stephanie Dunn walked in. And if you guys know me at all, I am not afraid.
Did you fangirl? Did you fangirl?
I did a little. But I'm not afraid. Like, if you know me at all, I am so not afraid to walk up to somebody and start a conversation with them. That's probably why people love watching me blitz, because I just have a no excuses attitude. Like, I'm going to blitz. I don't care. And I just was like, walked up to their table, and it was very intimidating because there was like 10 people with them. And I'm like, they're probably all millionaires too. This is no big deal. So I was like, just suck it up, Becky, and just go for the ask. Just like if I'm working my business. So I was like, hey, I'm Becky Fenstermaker. How are you? And then it was just like, I said, they're like, how are you doing? I'm like, good. And they're like, so I said, I have a question for you about my business. I won't bug you for long, but I just wanted to get your opinion and some advice. And Joel's like, encouraging words. I can do that. And I said, okay. He said, well, I can kind of sense something about you right now. How many people are on your team? How many DTs do you have under you? I said, 18. And he said, okay. And how many are actually working the business? And I said, not many. There's a few that are actually really, really plugging, and they're working their butts off, but they're planting a ton of seeds and nothing is harvesting yet. I said, and it's frustrating for me. I said, because, Bethany's waving. I said, and it's frustrating for me as a leader because I don't have an issue bringing on, new customers and distributors. It's not as hard for me, but I've also been in it for a little bit longer than everyone else. But I said, it's just hard because I don't know how to keep them motivated, and I feel like I want to get into management mode. Mm-hmm. But when I did that for a month, my volumes went down. My production went down. And Joel said, let me stop you right there. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do. It's going to answer all your problems with your business right now. And I said, I'm all ears. And he said, go get more. I was like,
that sounds
three words, Joel. Did you know how much courage it took for me to just come over here and talk to you? And Stephanie started laughing, and she was like, no, he's serious. And he said, if you want your team to start working, you need to bring on more runners and let them see that, hey, this person just joined, and look at them running. What are they doing? Mm-hmm. He said, and just encourage them to, like, if they're watching you and if you're having success, tell them, just follow me. Find some successful people in the business. They don't have to be, and he even said, they don't have to be black diamonds. Find some people that are successful in the business. They can be ruby, they can be diamond, double diamond, triple, presidential. It doesn't matter. Have them find 2 people that they can follow that maybe are not very popular in the company, and have them follow because they got to the top somehow. And obviously something that you're doing is not working. So you have to, you have to find a new way. You have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to change your line of thinking and adjust with the times. Like, people say that in the summer business slows down. That's baloney. It is not the business that slows down. It's the distributors who slow down because you get busy.
People.
Yeah, you get busy and you think, oh my God, but I'm going to a barbecue, or but I can't really do anything because we have birthday parties and graduations, and that's baloney, because that is the absolute best time to be blitzing and marketing to people. Have your catalogs, have your blitz cards, have samples with you, show people, have your green tea and dump your greens in it. Like, those are the things that I do. And I'm still learning. Like you guys are learning every day. We learn something new every single day. And you have to learn to incorporate those new things into your business to find out what's successful and what's not. And if whatever you're doing now is not working, then change it. Find a different avenue. So one of the things I wanted to ask you guys too was, obviously we have a few that are on right now, but we talked about the importance of getting to events. Well, can you guys kind of talk really quickly about what the importance is of plugging in, like getting on Zooms, getting on calls, reaching out to your upline, being active in threads and on team pages and things like that?
Yeah.
If you're not plugging in, you're going to lose the business.
You're going to die.
You're going to die.
Because when you plug in, it's like electricity.
Yep.
It just constantly, like, you're plugged in, you're turned on. Like your light is turned on. If you unplug, then it's dark. You can't see anything. So that's how I like to think of it. And another thing is, we all grow this business differently. And if you're giving other people ideas and they're giving you ideas, then you're just working together, figuring something out. And if you're doing it by yourself, well, that's,
and you're never
going to grow a lot slower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're never going to learn doing it by yourself. And I have to reiterate, no man or woman is a rock or island unto themselves.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by that is nobody can survive on their own. You can't do it. We are communal creatures.
We're in this together.
Yeah.
You are in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. That's Cammie's favorite thing. She reminds us all the time. So we do need each other to grow. We do, because it's multi-level marketing. If nobody's working, then obviously you're not getting anywhere. And you can't do it all yourself. So I think that if you can't get to the events, you need to be on every call. You need to be on every Zoom. You need to be listening to what your upline says, because you got with that upline for a reason. You believe in them and they believe in you. And you need their advice. You need
and
what
don't
they
let
have to
anything
say.
prevent you from engaging with your team.
Mm-hmm.
If you were on an athletic team, if you're on some sporting, you're not going to skip practice. They won't permit it. If you were in corporate America, they have team meetings all the time. Target, Walmart, they have a team meeting every shift. If you're not plugging in with your team and everybody catching a vision and everybody knowing their responsibilities and what's expected to grow, you're not going to be successful. So,
or you may get fired, because some of those are required.
Yeah.
Right.
So I tell people, hey, you're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. And if you're trying to do it by yourself, the struggle is going to be real.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
Well, and two, a lot of people will say, well, the timing of the calls isn't right, or when you do the team Zooms or the corporate call, the family call, the tribe call, when I do my team Zooms, when Liz does the team enter Zooms, I'm in a couple leadership groups. A lot of people will say, well, it's not convenient for me. Like, my kids are in bed, or we have soccer practice, or whatever the case might be. The thing is that I don't really know anyone that does their team Zooms and does not record. I always record, so it's always available. And then I upload it to my YouTube channel so that, they have that outlet. So any Zoom that we've done as a team since I joined, it's all on my YouTube channel. So you can always go back and watch them. And then as far as corporate calls and things like that, they're recorded. So making excuses, I'm not saying that we're all not busy and that we all don't have things going on. Life gets busy, and that's totally understandable. We all have things going on. The beauty of being a leader is I get to set the time that's convenient for me. And it may not always be convenient for everyone else, but that's why it's so important, and we always record so that you can always come back to it. And it's important that you do watch the recordings, because you might hear the same story over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. And you might have heard some things on tonight's Zoom that you've heard before, but maybe something really stuck out to you tonight. Maybe there was a message in this Zoom tonight that God had meant for you. Or maybe it wasn't meant for you personally, but God put it in this Zoom for you to hear because he wants you to take it to someone else. Someone else needs to hear that. Mm-hmm. So I always think, when I hear people, it's not that I don't sympathize with people's busy schedules, but there's always a way to still, if you can't make it on the Zoom, if you can't listen to the corporate call when it's going on, go back and listen to the recording. Go back and watch the recordings. You know, I have to be in this business with a no excuses attitude. I don't care. You know, there's nights where I don't get but 2 or 3 hours of sleep because I'm messaging out to people. I've got people who work third shift, and when they're on their lunch at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and they message me, I may not always message them right away, but when I'm up at 5:30, I message them back. And sometimes we'll be messaging back and forth for a couple hours, and I'm exhausted. But I know that by putting in that hard work and time now, I will reap the benefits later on. I'm planting, building relationships. And, you know, that's why people tell me all the time, like, well, I don't have the time that you do. Guys, I run a full-time daycare in my house. So, and so I don't have a lot of free time myself, but I make the time. You know, my daughter takes 2 or 3 dance classes. I take a hip hop dance class on Mondays. I take a hip hop workout class on Thursdays. And I try to put, you know, do Facebook Live parties, do regular Facebook parties, rap parties, do coffee dates. I'm always busy. And you know what? I love it because I work at home watching kids, so I can't wait to get out of the house. So I love setting up coffee dates and doing rap parties. But you have to just go into it with an attitude like you can't make excuses. You have to find a way to work this business around your schedule, to work it into your everyday life. So last thing I wanted to ask you guys was, I keep asking you, what's the importance of this? But again, like sometimes when you hear it, like they might hear it from me 10,000 times, but sometimes hearing it from somebody else, it just might sound better. I don't know. But I'm a firm believer, and I know most of us are, but what is the importance of actually using our products?
Oh, yeah.
Got to be a product with a product. Can't sell anything you don't believe in.
And people are they're gonna sense that. Like if they ask you, well, what does the cleanser smell like? Well, I don't know because I've never used it. Well, then they're not gonna want to try it. But if you're like, oh my gosh, it smells amazing and it has done wonders for my skin, then they're gonna be like, oh, okay. You know, so it's easier to sell it that way. When I did hair, I couldn't sell shampoo that I didn't use, you know, or products that I didn't use because I wouldn't know how it would.
So many products.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
In the salon, because she would tell, they would be like, "What do you use?" She would tell them what she used, and they would all go buy it. And I was like, "Can you please get these companies to give you commission?"
Yeah, I know. I didn't get any commission off that. But they all loved it because, you know, my hair would look really good, and everyone trusts their hairstylist. They just do. So
I trust mine.
Yeah. So they would ask me, and it would be my personal, you know, it wouldn't be necessarily like we would have a rep come in from Paul Mitchell, and he would try to get us to use his stuff, but I didn't really like it, you know, so I couldn't sell it.
Right.
So I would like what, you know, I use. And so I was way more passionate about it, and they can sense your passion. And if you haven't, when you're doing wrap parties and you haven't used any of the products, let's say you can't afford them, you can at least do
the greens,
the wrap, because it comes in your builder's kit.
Yep.
You know what the wrap is like. So sell the mess out of that wrap. If that's all you can afford, you bought that builder's kit or whatever it's
when we first started, all I knew to talk about, now I got online and I read about all the products that I could, but all I knew to talk about was the greens, the fat fighters, and the wraps. And when we first started, we didn't have the fat fighters. It was the second month that I got those. So when we first started, I talked about the greens and the wraps. That's all I could talk about. Guess what we sold?
The greens and the wraps.
We sold the greens and the wraps.
We didn't sell anything else. Cammy was like, you guys are going to have to branch out there.
She was like, yeah, those 30 BV slots are they're not
Bless
enough. I was like, oh, okay, so there's a lot of other products. Man, I'm going to have to learn about these.
And they were intimidating. But you know what? Once we started buying them on our auto shipment and we started using them, the more they became less intimidating.
If you can't sit down and write a paragraph on every product, you don't know your products well enough.
Yep.
You have got to be able to sit down and either speak or write a paragraph about every product.
One of the trainings that we did with our team that's local and on Zoom, we had each of them pick a product and we gave them like 1 week. And they had to give us a 2-minute presentation.
We timed them.
Yeah, timed.
Just like high school.
On that product.
It's like high school speech class.
Oh, it was. If they can't talk about it, then how are they going to sell it?
we had people come in and they had written it all down and they read it for 2 minutes. I was like, I don't care as long as you know it. I just want you to know it. Because I was tired of people messaging us and being like, hey, what does this product do? And I'm like, you've been in the company 6 months. It's your back office. And I'm cool with people saying, hey, you know, I don't really understand what this is yet. All day, I'll explain stuff to people. In fact, I do all day. But when they have literally not even opened their back office and read about it at all, I'm like, come on, guys.
Well, another thing.
It's your business. This can make you a millionaire.
Yeah.
Right.
Another thing about doing the game that we did was you got to learn how they say it. So, you know, it gives you a different way to sell that product.
Yeah, that's true. Because everybody has a different approach.
Yeah.
Yep.
They kind of dumbed it down, if you can say that. Like, so it wasn't the scientific version necessarily, but it was like their interpretation of the product.
That's a great idea. Team, I hope you're listening, team, because I have a feeling I'm going to be throwing that out there for you guys.
It's really fun, and it's awesome.
One thing to do is the newbie to Ruby. We would do a product giveaway, and we would have events, and then we would give points for every question. So we would have a question every day on our Facebook page. And everybody would log in and answer it. And you would have to go research. And we still do it. Steph came up with the idea. And you wouldn't believe how many of the higher ups in the company started using it after that.
Wow.
So, yeah, the newbie to Ruby thing is so you start out, you're a newbie. To go Ruby, we give you everything that you need. If you log in every day and you do what it says every day, you will go Ruby.
Yep.
That's just all there is to it. You will go Ruby.
And honestly, doing that, I learned so much about the company and the products because I ask them like everything, like what does the company do at 3:05 every day? You know, kind of. Yeah. So it's stuff like that.
Hey, Liz.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey,
Can she see
Liz.
us?
I don't know if she can see us.
Yeah, I think she can.
Hear us.
Liz.
She's being all sneaky. Hey.
How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Really good.
Good. It's good to see you guys.
I know we missed you.
I know it's so fun in Florida.
In Florida.
What you guys? Go ahead.
So I was just going to ask you. So do you guys have any advice then for anyone that says, you know, maybe they can't afford it? I know one idea that I was thinking about yesterday, and I kind of wrote it down in my notes to share on the Zoom tonight was, you know, if you can't afford to buy all the products, and I understand money is tight, especially starting out. That's how I was. But one thing I started doing from the very beginning was I started ordering a different product every month. So even if it wasn't, you know, like the essential oils, like, oh, I couldn't wait till I got my 120 free product credit because I wanted that. I wanted the essential oils, but I couldn't afford to try it at first. So I would order a different product every month. And then when I would get like a fast start bonus, I turned around and put that money right back into my business and would order another product to try. And, you know, people are always like I have this really awesome, I'm pretty proud of it. I have this china cabinet that I've made into my display. So when people come over, I don't have to set anything up. It's already right there. And, you know, and they're like, how did you do that? Like, how do you have so many products? I'm like, how do you have almost all the products? I'm like, well, yeah, because every month I've taken and I've reinvested in my business so that I can try the products and be a product of the product. And I can give an honest opinion. Like, you know what? Like, I really don't see a whole lot of difference for myself. Like, this ThermoFit is not good for me, but that's because I have hypothyroidism. But I didn't know that starting out. But it took me actually taking it to have to find that out. Same way with the reps. I didn't get a result right away. It took 5 reps before I saw any results. And I didn't take my before and afters until like the 3rd rep. So it just takes trial and error. And I think just being willing to invest in your business, and it doesn't have to be a lot. It can be fat fighters. You know, I know that like for Bethany, she's been ordering the greens faithfully since she joined, and she loves the greens. And she posts all about those. And, you know, like there's other, I know that like Michelle and Anthony, they order the greens chews. They are huge advocates for the greens and the greens chews. My suggestion is, like I said, like try to order something new. If you spend, you know, $30 a month, $33 or $35 a month on the greens, get some other products and try another product that's in that budget, and maybe not do the greens the next month. Try something else. So do you guys have any advice for that?
I can't live without the greens. I have to do them every month. I have to. But everything else, yes. Right now, I think I'm on 13 different products.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have to
You're a
sit
pill
down-
popper.
Yeah. I have to sit down like 4 times a day to take all of them.
It's true. You can't take them all at once.
Yeah, you can't take them all
Right.
at once. It's like a gut
So
grenade.
what's your advice to give them if they can't afford it?
If you can't afford it right away, there are a lot of products that are $1 a day. So the greens are about $1.10 a day. The probiotics $1.05 a day. The greens on the grow. Greens on the grow are great to get and pass out. I love the regular. I got that one and took it, loved it, told my friends all about it. Pick a product that is like your baby, or 2 products that are going to be your baby. Learn everything you can about them. You would not believe how much I sell hair, skin, and nails.
Oh, I would believe it.
Not believe.
Yeah, especially because of his hair.
Because people always go, "Wow, man, your hair's changed." I go, "Yeah, it's hair, skin, and nails." What's that? Dun da da da. They just open the door for me. Bam! I hit them with the hammer. I'm just kidding.
Yep.
Not really. I tell them about the product, and I'm passionate about it. I believe in it. Find a product that you believe in. Use it. Tell
And
everybody
another
about it.
thing, one of the girls on our team, she's trying to get her sister to be a little customer. And she has her going on like a coffee fast because she kept saying she didn't have any money. And so she said, you go to Starbucks every day.
She put her on a 30-day coffee fast.
Yeah. And
And
she
told her
was
to put $5 a day in a bag or something.
in a bag gown. She almost
actually
has
did
enough.
it.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Oh,
So
okay.
she did for 1 month. And so she was able to sign up. Was it to be a distributor? I think?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
to
to
be
be
a
a
DT.
distributor.
That's
So-
awesome.
Yeah, so if you just think of ways that you necessarily not waste your money, because I love coffee, I don't think it's a waste.
I don't either.
But if you just kind of like budget your, it is not a waste. If you budget it in a way to where you can think of, well, maybe I can cut back here just a little bit. You know, it may sacrifice in the beginning, but it'll be worth it because you'll be more knowledgeable about the products.
I love that.
More eventually.
Oh, and another thing, anytime somebody says they're too busy to work the business, I'm a lawyer full time. I have a trial at 8:30 in the morning. I have 2 trials tomorrow morning, in 2 different courts. Yay! So I do this at night for 3 or 4 hours, and then I go work during the day to be a lawyer, and I work hard. I work really hard, and she works all the time.
One thing I like to tell the people on our team is I ask them, I'm like, are you watching TV? Because I see you posting about, you know, your favorite episode of blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, then you could have been messaging people during commercials. Or, you know, I'm not wanting to be like, you know, no TV forever. But you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You know, watch TV, message people. Jocelyn says that she makes a game out of it. Every time a commercial comes on, she messages 5 people. So, yeah, 5
She's
people.
a baller.
For like every commercial she does. So, you know, that may be an option too.
And I will tell you that a lot of people, the reason that they struggle with doing that is because they haven't caught the vision yet. Like I said earlier, the vision is not taught. You can't teach a vision. You can teach facts. You can teach information. The vision has got to be caught. They got to believe it.
And what were we talking about earlier about the emotional thing? Like they catch your emotion, but not the vision.
Oh, you should state it. You did a really good job.
Well,
of it.
you worded better than I did.
Oh, you did a great job.
You
You
two
did?
are so cute.
Okay. So earlier she was talking about, you know, when we very first started, we were really passionate about it, had a lot of emotion. And a lot of our people that came on board at the time, they had a lot of emotion with us. But then when they leave our presence, they quit trying until they get back in our presence again. And they'll message people
And they
sitting next to
think that
us.
they've caught the vision, but they haven't. They've caught my passion, not theirs.
They haven't.
So then when I leave,
yeah.
they're like, what am I passionate about again? Because I'm not
Right.
there. You know, I'm not showing them. So if you don't have them write down, like on paper, what their vision is, so they can constantly keep it in front of them,
And they got to put it
then
on
they're
their
going to
wall.
be, and they've got to constantly look at it, then they're going to be like up and down all the time. They're not going to be consistent.
And it's not just a why. See, a why can move
Changes.
on or change, or
Yeah.
or you could think this is not going to accomplish my why. Like if you told me right now, hey Gabriel, you're going to be a basketball salesman, that's not going to take care of my why. I just don't believe that's going to get me there. Maybe it could, but I don't believe that. If you want me to believe that being a basketball salesman is going to accomplish my why, then you've got to help me catch the vision of being a basketball salesman. I have to believe that being a basketball salesman is going to build my empire. if they don't believe that it works, if they don't catch the vision that it works, is going to be profitable for them. They don't have it. They don't have the vision. They can get fired up in a moment, but they don't have the vision. They've got to catch that vision. They've got to understand, see, believe, whatever it takes for them to believe that this is going to be the wave that I ride to accomplish my why. This is the vehicle I'm going to take to get there. If they don't believe that, they're never going to jump on board completely. And you can't blame them if they don't catch that vision.
No, it'll be an emotional thing.
Yeah, you got to help them catch that vision.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
Liz, yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to jump off real quick because I got to go get ready for trial tomorrow. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for letting us on here. Liz, you're awesome. And thank you so much, everybody, for listening to us. And I'm going to leave you all with that.
Thank you, Gabe. Mwah.
Thanks, Gabe. God's blessings tomorrow in court.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Keep praying that.
Yes.
Tomorrow's a stressful one.
Confianza Day.
Yes, I keep trying to get him to take that.
Aw, John hears your guys' voices from a distance.
I heard Gabe and Steph and
Gabe.
hey buddy, what's up?
I'm ready for 2 trials tomorrow.
Up, can you see him?
How are you doing?
You can use me as a material witness.
Yes. Do you know a lot about drugs and child abuse?
Child abuse.
Well, is this being recorded?
Yes, it is.
Oh boy. Is it getting hot in here or is it just me?
So let me ask John and Liz, and since you guys are both on really quickly before we wrap up, what was one aha moment that you each took away from Green Carpet?
Ooh, my biggest aha moment was when I think she was a presidential, maybe she was an ambassador. She stood up on stage and said how they grew to presidential in 1 year by doing their steps success. Like he was doing his, it was a couple, and she was doing hers. And then they stopped completing their own personal steps success and started training their team.
Yep.
And she said their business came to a big halt because they stopped doing their own personal business. And then they started doing it again, and they went ambassador like really fast after that.
Yeah, I think they were presidential and they dropped down to triple when they started getting into management mode, and then they went and got up to ambassador.
Yeah. So that was my big aha moment, that even as you start to bring a team on, you always need to be still working your personal business as well. That was mine. How about yours? You were, well, I guess, Becky, you were in his place.
Being that I didn't actually go to conference, but
you were down there with us.
Took a little bit different approach to it. I would say that my aha moment is that you need to do the small stuff right in order to expect an opportunity to do the big stuff right. And for me, the small stuff was being home with my sick kiddo at the time and spending some time with Matt and, getting to know him, giving him some coaching and guiding. And, being at conference was probably where I really wanted to be, but I also had to do my family stuff well. And really, that's why we're doing this, is to have an opportunity to do that. So, I would just say definitely don't question the timing of everything, but you have to have your foot in the game all the time in order to be there when it takes a run at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Did anybody have any questions before we end with a little? I just have a little excerpt here from a book from the Go Giver. Any questions? Okay, no, from the galley. All right. So I'm one of those. I'm so bad about reading books because I've got a stack of them sitting here. So I read a little bit out of each one. I don't know why. It just seems to be better for me. But I'm reading in the Go Giver again. It's my second time already. And there's one part in the book that I just love that I wanted to share with you guys. And it just talks about your reasons for working. And there's 3 reasons. So I'm just going to read it to you guys really quickly, and then we'll end with prayer. So it says, there are 3 universal reasons for working. Survive, to meet your basic living needs. Save, to go beyond your basic needs and expand your life. And serve, to make a contribution to the world around you. Unfortunately, most people spend their entire lives focusing on the first one. A smaller number focus on the second. But those rare few who are truly successful, and not just financially, but genuinely successful in all aspects of their lives, keep their focus squarely on the third. And of course, that third was serving. So I just love that, because it just gives a really positive message and just helps you to understand that there's more than just the money aspect as to why you join this business. You may not realize that at this point, maybe you do, but you know, there's so many different levels to success, and there's so many different levels to your personal success. But it's so important to be working on your personal development, because your success is going to reap what you're putting in. If you are putting in time for yourself, not just for your business, but putting in time into personal development, that was something so huge I've learned from the very beginning from John and Liz, was that I never even knew what personal development was. And it's become such a huge part of my life. And it's helped to just keep me motivated and stay strong in not just my faith, but in my business and in all aspects of my life. So I just encourage you guys all that if you don't have a personal development book, please find one. I would be happy to. I know John and Liz would be happy to share a list of some great books to share. You know, the one that I just read from is called The Go-Giver, and it's by Bob Berg and John David Mann. Yeah. I also have several John Maxwell's. This one is really good. It's Make Today Count. So just get yourselves a personal development book so that you can really, you know, it's not just get up in the morning, make a few posts, and then go on about your day. You know, you really have to learn how to make it a part of your everyday life and really incorporate it in every way that you can. So would anybody like to volunteer to say a prayer for the team of blessings? Wow, nobody jump in all at once.
Good.
Wait, Gabriel wants to pray.
Okay.
Aww.
Thank you, Gabe.
He's the best. He's the best at that.
I will pray for us all.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Dear Lord, I thank you so much for this Zoom and for the people that are on it, and for the team. I thank you for the opportunity that we have with this company. I ask you, Lord, to come and bless us all as we pursue you, and that we would pursue you. And Lord, I pray that you would bless our efforts. We've planted a lot of seeds, and I feel like we're in a planting season, almost like the whole company is in a planting season. And Lord, I pray that you would bring us to that harvest season very soon. But Lord, I pray that we would plant good seeds so that we can harvest good fruits. I ask you, Lord, to teach us, to grow us, to make us better people, and to also make us more prosperous. Lord, I know that we live in an economic world, and I would like to be able to do everything that I need to for your kingdom and to live a good life for my family and provide for them. And I know that everybody else's heart is the same. So Lord, I thank you for this, and I praise you for it, and for good friends and good companies. Amen.
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 Thank you so
Amen.
much, Gabe.
Amen.
Thanks, Gabe.